Hello guys, welcome all to this video. My name is Chaithanya. In my previous video, I had described about the Docker content over here. Like today, I'm going to share about Docker introduction over here. So let's dive into it. Now I will explain it in a very real-time scenario over here. I had chosen transportation industry for understanding of the Docker. So let me relate that concept to Docker. We had already know about that like transport goods was very difficult because of loading and unloading of goods or various modes of transport. Transport industry has standardized and then came for the containers. In containers we have flat top, refrigerator containers or something else like that we have. So many things in containers we have. You might be thinking that I'm going to explain like this content. No, not at all. Let's talk about software terminology, like software industry technology. So here you have seen virtualization and containerization. So let me talk about virtualization. Virtualization is a technology and used for running multiple OS, that means operating systems, on one single host operating system. Is called virtualization. Let me tell one example over here. In olden days, we have dual boot for choosing Linux and Windows. That means when booting up the machine, it will ask you to choose Linux for, if you wanted to choose Linux, you have to press 1 for Linux. If you wanted to choose Windows, you need to press 2 for that. It will load to you according to your option, which means only one operating system is running on your machine, not both. You will only run one operating system in these missions by using dual boot. So let me talk about virtualization over here. So our generation, what we are doing currently is uh, related to Linux or Windows or any other OS. Let me take. You can see here on the screen, virtualization is there. I have taken bare metal. Bare metal we will also call as hardware over here. And also on top of the hardware, we have host operating system. In this host operating system, you can take any of the OSs. That means Windows, Linux, or Mac OS, whatever it may be. So on top of it, we have hypervisor. Hypervisor. What is hypervisor? Is enabled to run multiple operating systems on one single piece of hardware parallelly. On top of the hypervisor, we have our guest OS systems like Red Hat and Windows Server 2016. So we had seen about virtualization like VirtualBox, VMware, and Hyper-V, and also Microsoft Hyper-V and Citrix Zen software. I mean, virtualization thing is there in industry. So let me talk about on top of the guest operating system, we will use something called as application softwares. So let me talk about application software over here. So what is application software? These softwares which end users like you and me will use generally like MS Office, Skype, VLC Media Player, etc. Something like that we will use. If these softwares are running, obviously, we need some amount of hardware, right? The hardware will looks like this in system components. So what this application software does, it takes the help of the software called as system software. Let me take, you have application software. With that application software, you will interact with system software called Windows or Linux. You can take any of that. System software will take a responsibility to interact with the hardware, right? That means takes the help of software, something called system software. I discussed about it. But these application softwares cannot directly interact with the hardware. You must have to understand it. Because application software interacts with system software responsible for hardware allocation, interacts with hardware and perform a necessary hardware allocation like all those activities perform. Okay, so Your application software will be there. It should be interact with system software and also responsible for hardware. Why hardware is responsible for allocating uh, memory or allocating RAM configuration, something like that. So the challenge over here is certain applications or softwares are designed to work on certain operating system only. You take any of the application, like example, they don't work over anywhere. If you take some example scenario over here, you having your system called as Windows. In your Windows configuration, you wanted to install Skype. You wanted to install an application software called as Skype. Let me take, for your understanding purpose, I'm using Skype over here. For downloading the Skype, you went to the browser, your favorite browser, whatever it may be. So you will choose to download button. You will have three types of extensions over there. If you are using Windows, definitely you have to choose .exe extension only. You can't choose .var or .dmg. You have to choose .exe. This type of installation only works on Windows. .var extensions will work on Linux. If you wanted to install .var extension on Windows, it can't support, right? It will show some error configuration like that. So the same scenario, let me spoke about organization perspective. In organization, take any organization, whether it may be startup or anything else, you have a bare metal over there. On top of bare metal, you have host operating system, and also you have hypervisor, something like that. You are starting a project, like you are using guest operating system as Red Hat. Your project is related to Oracle database. For communicating, like for storing data, you are using Oracle database. That data has to be present over on Red Hat operating system, something else like that. Okay, and also you wanted to migrate this Red Hat server to Windows server. You wanted to use a SQL server over here. Like you know, in Oracle database, you have already data present over there. That's running on Red Hat over there. To migrate all data into Windows SQL Server or Microsoft SQL Server or Windows 220 Server 2016 edition like this. Unfortunately, I can mention you that this entire thing we will call as virtualization. Apart from that, these these two databases are not free softwares. These are paid softwares. Databases itself, it's a uh, paid thing only. You have to buy for that. You need to buy for licensing. You need to pay the softwares. You need to buy the licensing costs from the respective organization. If you wanted to purchase SQL Server, you need to go on to the Microsoft side, Microsoft organization. You have to purchase that. For Oracle also, you need to do that. Do this step only. For Red Hat also, you are going to do this step only. So my point is, so our requirement is work on SQL Server and Oracle DB to just maintain the two databases. My organization has to maintain Windows Server 2016 and Red Hat Enterprise Linux. It's okay, fine for that. But a hypervisor, which is technology to maintain the operating system on one piece of hardware, and simply as run your apps on my Windows machine, I can install MS Office, Skype, etc. And parallelly, we can able to run those applications. How simply are able to run apps? That means applications on single OS. Similarly, on the hypervisor, we are able to run multiple guest OS, all the as like that. Okay. So let me talk about virtualization in deeper depth. We have bare metal on top of it. We have host operating system. Again, hypervisor will be there. Again, guest operating system as Red Hat and Oracle database like this. But let's understand very clearly over here. If you take Oracle database over here, that Oracle database has to communicate with the guest operating system Red Hat, and this guest operating system has to communicate with hypervisor, and this hypervisor has to communicate with the host operating system. like Windows or Linux or Mac OS, whatever it may be. These host operating system also need to communicate with the bare metal. So process is the application has to communicate with the bare metal. Like it has to pass so many layers was there to get the hardware allocation. Let me tell in a detailed point of view. Like clearly observe. I mean, if you can clearly observe over there, unnecessarily your organization was wasting money on maintaining the license of these OSs like that. So what's the solution over there here is Docker, we have advanced of virtualization. On top of it, same procedure, same steps will be there. But unnecessarily you are wasting money on guest operating systems, right? Where your actual requirement is to run the applications on these, right? You want to run SQL Server, Oracle DB only. But unfortunately, for maintaining these databases, we are also maintaining the operating systems over here. This may lead to time delay or something like that. And coming to Docker, we have bare metal, host operating system, all these things will be there. On top of host operating system, you will be installing the software called as Docker Engine. On the top of Docker Engine, you will be installing Oracle database and also SQL Server. There is no need of operating system while using Docker Engine. You can directly install Oracle DB or SQL Server, whatever requirement is, you can install like that. So the whole process of Docker is it's a process isolation. This is the process I can say. You can see over here I mentioned the point. No licensing on operating systems, but licensing on application softwares is much better in organization perspective. Okay. So let's understand Docker in a very deep dive. So Docker is used for performing process isolation, and I can mention you that what is process isolation you may be having the doubt. Removing dependencies and running applications directly with the Docker engine itself is called a process isolation. Process is nothing but your applications, nothing but process. And isolation means all these applications were earlier dependent on some operating system. Now you are isolating it and you are removing the dependency. So you are able to run those applications directly on the top of Docker engine. So communicating with the hardware directly, it's very accurately and when compared to virtualization. These are extremely lightweight, I can say. And you wanted to deploy anything in the form of container, it will work fast. I can say that. So let me understand some scenario. Uh, we have a PHP over here and Apache and MySQL. Combining, if you are using these three things on Linux, you will be calling as lamb stack. These lamb stack scenarios you wanted to do on virtualization, it takes hardly like 2 to 3 hours for normal installation or a physical mission. It may be virtualization also. If you take Docker over here, it's just a matter of seconds or minutes as well as. Within a seconds or minutes, you can create this complete architecture. If you ask any system administration guys, they will tell the reply like this. For installing this LAMP architecture, it will take 2 to 3 hours for them. Whereas if they learn about Docker, they will tell you it's just a matter of seconds. And just create those things on Linux. So let me talk about advantages over here. The complete advantage I can say that you can spin up the environment tool based on your requirement. Example for databases like MySQL, PostgreSQL, you can create it or you can delete it also. Like programming languages, you can use Python, Java, .NET, Golang, or applications also you can create like LAMP stack application, main stack like that. If you take operating systems like Ubuntu, CentOS, BusyBox, so on, you can create on that. Using the above cases can be done in a few seconds or also 8 minutes, I can say. That means you can creation, updation, deletion. These cases can be done in a few seconds. Advantage I speak up about like simple points I can say like speed, lightweight, no dependency, like that. So let me talk about migrations over here. Migrations are very easy. Like data migration is there, application migration is there. Let me deep dive into data migration and application migration. Let me take one physical mission over here. Like you have seen bare metal on top of it, guest operating system. I'm using Red Hat. On top of it, I'm using Oracle database. This one physical virtual machine is there, and this machine also I have there. But in this guest operating system, I'm using Windows Server 2016. Here, the data migration is very good, but the problem over here is no application migration will be there. That means whatever data you are storing on Oracle database on Red Hat system, that complete data you can transfer to this into Oracle database by using Windows Server. But if you want Red Hat system on the same second physical virtual machine, it can't possible. Your application, entire application, you can't be used over there. That means in Oracle database, you have installed on something like some plugins you have installed in this physical watch in this mission. You want same exact plugins have to store in second virtual mission. As second mission, I can say it's not at all possible. The same configuration you can't be replaced with the same configuration on second mission. That's not at all possible. So let me take, if you want application migration, something else like this. You have same operating system like in Windows, I mean, instead of Windows, both systems are Red Hat. In that case, your application migration and data migration will be there. That means for data migration or application migration, your operating systems and system software and application software must be same. These cases. So let me talk about another scenario. You have bare metal, Red Hat, and I'm installed Docker engine over here. I'm using the Oracle database. And here also I can take second mission as Windows. So in this case, the data migration will be there, but also application migration with the help of Docker, it's there. You can observe it. On this mission, I had used Red Hat. On this mission, I had used Windows over here. Both the cases, data migration will be there and also application migration will be there. This point, it's a critical point you have to understand, but I am explaining in a very simple manner. Once you see the video, you will understand. So with these standards, shipper fills the container and for rest of the container is like black box, I can say. Suppose you have oranges, the same oranges has to transport to other country called as USA, like California state. With the help of mini truck, you can transport the shipment through truck again to truck to California. I just explained in simple way. You can understand in this perspective also. That means shipping goods is portable. That means shipping your applications is also portable in Docker. That's what my point is to say as a very uh, gunshot point. I can say like that. So if you understand Docker like this, if you follow official documentation, in official documentation also they had mentioned this step, which is called as Docker containers can be used at all the stages of software development lifecycle. Only thing is it can be done like build. Build in the step means like creating that application in a development environment. With that, you are going to shipment. That means here ship means testing environment or packaged environment like that. From that, you are able to run like this, like a production environment or live environment. Client or end user can start executing or using it like this. So that's all from this. Let me talk about summary. I discussed about transportation scenario into Docker, like software terminologies like virtualization and containerization of Docker scenario. Some examples like data migration and Windows virtual machines, licensing scenarios like that I had discussed, and migrations. So that's all for this video, guys. I hope you like it. If you like it, please like it and share it to someone else. And subscribe to my later channel. I will keep updating Docker series. I had mentioned in my previous video like that I'm going to share some views, some topics over in my upcoming playlist. So until then, bye. If you like it, please subscribe it, guys. Thank you. It will helpful for me. Thank you, guys. That's all for this video.